Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. On the podcast, we'll talk to experts on everything from Thomasville history and events to daily operations and city business, all while having some fun in the process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. I am Austin Reams, and I am here with the one and only, the great Ricky Zambrano. Starting a new season. Ricky, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by that introduction, but I guess it's pretty standard when it comes to Austin trying to set me up for failure by kind of complimenting me too much.
Exactly. That's all part of my master plan is to, Ricky and I love giving each other a hard time, and that's just kind of how it goes. But how are you holding up in this heat, Ricky?
I'm not going to lie. Me and the heat don't mix well. I'm counting down the days till it gets down to 89 degrees. I will take 89 and then on a steady decline down to about 83, which will probably be till
October. Christmas
Eve.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Our winter of 80 degrees in Thomasville. And somebody mentioned the other day that about the snowfall last January, and I was like, those are the days.
In another 20 years, you'll see another snowfall
or
like
maybe
that.
This year.
Maybe 50. So anyway, that was
not that I'm
crazy.
Lighting any candles at home or anything, or that my kids aren't. I'm sure there's a lot of kids around Thomasville that are thinking that this is a standard, right? I mean, and it's going to be hard to meet that standard, obviously. So, but speaking of the rest of the fall, we do have a great season in store. We got a lot of phenomenal guests coming up, and just again a lot of great information for the community, and really looking forward. We don't want to put too many teasers out there of who it's going to be because it gets a little mysterious, and all of our listeners would be just on edge. So we don't want them to be on the edge, and you know how many listeners we have. So we got. I told you the other day about our number one fan who came up and spoke to me about
That's
it.
Right.
I mean, he wants your autograph, so you better get that picture
Absolutely,
ready.
Yeah. I'll send him an autographed picture, and he keep the gnats away with it. But we do have a kind of a special show today, and Ricky, you can introduce our guests. But a lot of times we're talking to city personnel, people in and around city of Thomasville type stuff, but it's a little different show today, and one I'm excited about. But go ahead and introduce our guest, and let's go from there.
Yeah, and obviously you're exactly right. It's great to talk with our staff, with our Team Thomasville family, but it's also great when we come outside of the box and talk to people from the community. So, we've had great guests from the community in the past season with Mr. Nate Tyler and Melvin Huggins to talk about things going out in the community. But today we've got a little bit different of an angle with it. We want to talk about civic engagement. We want to talk about all the ways that the community can get involved, to provide public input, to find out more about what's going on, whether it's city council meetings, whether it's our citizen boards and things of that nature. So we've got our guest today is Anthony Pellegrino, and I'm not going to get into exactly what he does. I'm going to let him do that in his introduction. But he caught our eye because we'd be at our public input meetings, and we'd see him there. We'd be at council, we'd see him there. So when we were putting this together, we really felt like, this is someone we'd like to see and approach and see if they join us, and we're very appreciative that he's decided to join us.
All right. So, Anthony, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself today.
Sure. Well, thanks very much. I moved here to Thomasville in April of 22, so coming up on, over 3 years now. Moved here from Vermont. A very good friend of mine who I've known for well over 30 years has a home here. She grew up here and has a farm in Vermont. So one day, it was during COVID, and she said, hey, why don't you guys, come on down here and, hang out with me for a couple weeks? And we said, sure. So hopped down here, and the conversation got going, and we said, man, it's so nice here. It's peaceful. And she said, what are you talking about? It's February, it's ugly, and all the flowers aren't out. And I said, wow, if this is ugly, it's got to be spectacular come the spring and summer. So sure enough, we had looked around and made the move. I kind of like, adventure and things like that. Met a lot of people here in the period that we were here. And I said, yeah, this just seems like a really super place to live. So, packed up the car and headed down to Thomasville, Georgia. And it's been fantastic ever since.
That's great. Ricky, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to hear the stories and why people choose. Once upon a time, I was in those shoes, and I had an opportunity to choose, and it's been a great decision. So we definitely hope that right. The decision's been the right one for you thus far. It's been 3 years basically, and before you know it, you'll blink and it'll be 10 years
right.
and 30 years. So welcome.
Thank you.
Even though it's been 3 years, welcome. But tell us a little bit more about the variety of ways that you believe that you get involved when it comes to civic engagement.
Well, sure. I think when you live someplace as as nice as Thomasville, there has to be a people component to it, right? It can't just be city councilmen and the mayor and I mean, as important as those folks are, they represent the people of Thomasville. So when you see really good things happening in town, you have to expect it because of the people. So I want to be part of good things that happen, right? So I looked for ways of getting in touch. Went to city council meetings. Was really a good way to hear what the issues are and what people are looking for and focusing on. And, kind of became friends with Kenny Thompson. And I got your guys' 3-volume master plan for the city. And I'm like, wow, man.
And you read it.
Yeah, do you have it?
Well, I didn't read the whole thing. But,
Can we give you a test on it and see how,
So yeah, I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is like a big city quality master plan, right? The parks. And that's what really turned me on. I'm like, I think, parks are such an important, piece of people's lives, right? If you have a kid, you just want to, go to the park, read, whatever, active parks and passive parks. And so I just wanted to get even more involved in all of that because I thought it was just a really good way for the city to go.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. What are, what are some of the things that you've learned as city government? We're always trying to learn. I always like to get our feedback from you and other people.
Sure. It's tough being a city councilor. I was a city councilor once.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not a very glamorous job,
no,
right?
It really isn't.
Being honest.
But what I learned is I think you can learn a lot from the outside agitators. So sometimes I like to take that kind of role, right? I'll poke Kenny and say, why are you doing this? Is this what people really want?
We do that from the inside.
Yeah, we can do it from the inside, right?
We just find reasons to poke Kenny.
Yeah. And when you talk to him, you realize, he's such a thoughtful person, right? So he's thought about things and he wants to hear from people. He wants those kind of challenges, I think it's good when our city leaders kind of want to show off that they know a lot about what the city wants and what's good and what's, the things that are hard to do. I heard one city councilor here once say, and I don't want to ascribe, she was very good at saying, I can tell you what we can do and what we can't. And that's what you want to hear from a city councilor, right? These are things that we can do. These are things that we can't. Which is great because it gets people thinking even more. Oh, good, we can do this. Now let me even, fine tune my thoughts even more, right? Whether it's a sidewalk that somebody wants or paving, right? So I think it's good to really challenge our city folks.
Yeah, and to tack on to that question that Austin just asked you, specifically, you're on the HPC.
Oh yes, yeah. So
the Historical Preservation Commission.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about the HPC.
So that was kind of new. So I been to probably 3 or 4 of the meetings now. So it kind of in the learning phase, right? There's only so much research that you can do into how these boards run and operate. But I was really happy that someone recommended me for that board. So right now I'm learning a lot more, just seeing how difficult it is to, well, not difficult, it's just a lot of work, right? Molly, for example, Powell, there's a lot of work there to go into reviewing these plans, right? If somebody wants to put an addition on a historic home, just learning the differences between the national historic districts that we have and our local ones, right? And it's managing expectations of the buyers of these properties, right? You buy an old house, like I have an old house, your closet, was only really made for your Sunday best, right? But now in modern times, people want a walk-in closet. And it's just interesting to hear, how Molly works with, the architects and the owners of these homes to construct something that meets the architectural guidelines for a historic home.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It is.
A lot of back and forth and just kind of where democracy is at, right? Back and forth. Let's preserve it and make it better. That's tough.
And that's just one example, because we have a variety of citizen boards with a lot of citizens just like yourself that do a lot of work on those boards, and they make a difference. They do. I mean, if you look at planning and zoning, the HPC, I mean, they all make it the Recreation Advisory Board. I mean, downtown advisory. I mean, they're just, the list goes on and on.
Payroll development. Those guys.
And they all make a difference. And it's there are council members on there. There are staff members on there. There are county commissioners on some of them as well. But they play a role in how our city runs, and what new may come, what stays as a tradition and things of that nature. But again, it's the citizens that are making, and that's one major way, to get involved. And all of that information, as far as getting involved in those, is available on thomasville.org. And we encourage, citizens to get involved and apply and seek an opportunity to get on some of these boards. But if you think about it, what a great way for you to get acquainted to Thomasville by being on the HPC.
Yes,
because
definitely.
We're all about history here. We got so many historic homes, and it gives you some great background there. Yeah.
Did you have any kind of background with that? Some?
Yeah, some. Again, I've been on city councils, not here in Georgia, but so I kind of know that the city needs its citizens to get engaged, right? Mm-hmm. You kind of have to help the city officials move the city in the direction that you want to see it go, right? Even just like talking about parks, I'm passionate about parks, right? If you go to these meetings, you're hearing from the city saying, well, what do people really want, right? How do we find out what people, really want? And you look on social media and people are saying, gee, I wish there was like a splash pool for kids. Well, guess what? There's going to be one, right? So, it's being on the boards kind of helps you shape conversations with people as well. By doing that, I think people get more involved. And they're like, wow, the city does listen. But they listen more, I think, through the citizens. So so for me, it's really important to be part of these boards.
Yeah, and we see a lot of Anthony's there in a lot of meetings, a lot of things. We see a lot of citizens, and we're glad to see them, right? I mean, the worst thing is for people not to care. That's the worst thing, right?
That's right.
Engagement's always important. We're always going to get the feedback. If we're doing a good job or not doing, struggling with something, we're going to get that feedback, and that makes us better, makes the community better. So we appreciate all that. What are kind of finishing up here? I know that our audience is ready for Sound of the City. It's coming up, but Anthony, just kind of wrapping up a little bit, just with some big questions here. Kind of, what are some of the small things that you want to see? Just as a private citizen, and some of the big things that you want to see changes within this community. It may not necessarily be city related, but what are some of the small things some of the big things?
Small things I'd like to see is more of a canopy of our streets, right? I think trees and parks and gardens are really important. Take a ride down some of your more beautiful cities and you'll see those nice, live oak canopies. Parks again. Big stuff I'd like to see is the growth be more controlled. I know, the city right now is working on a TNID, which is like an infill district. I like to see a revitalization of some of the neighborhoods. I think there's some real opportunity there to focus on some other history in Thomasville, Dewey City, Carroll Hill.
Yeah, there's a lot of history in all our community,
That's right.
including those two neighborhoods you mentioned. There's a lot of great history that they have, and so again, I'm glad that you love trees so much, because I mean that's like there's all kinds of stories about. One of the more famous stories is one of the president of the garden club 100 years ago chained herself to a tree they were about to cut down there in front of First Baptist. Absolutely true story. And had a shotgun with her. I've been told, now I don't know about the shotgun part, but I have been told that she chained herself to that tree so they wouldn't cut it down. Big oak tree right there in front of First Baptist. So there you go. You're not to that point yet.
That's right. She's my kind of lady.
Well, I think we may have mentioned this on in the past, but when I first moved here, my wife hadn't moved here yet, and she called me one day. She's like, and we're talking, and she goes, "Hey, what's going on with the big oak?" And I'm like, "What's the big oak?" I mean, I'd been here about a week. And I was working 12-hour days to get transitioned, and I'm like, "What's the big oak?" She's like, "The truck got stuck underneath the big oak," and I'm like, "What is the big oak?" And I'm like, "Where did you get this?" She's like, "I saw it on the newspaper," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, I haven't read a newspaper in I don't know how long at that point. I'm like, I've been stuck in the office, but yeah, obviously I came to find out how the value and the importance of the big oak, and you don't mess with the big oak, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. After every storm, you got to check in on the big oak, see how she's doing.
But another one that hits closer to home is talking about trees. During this heat that we've had the last couple of days, I'll tell you what. The trees that got knocked down to build a home across the street from me, I am asking for those trees to make a return because the sunlight hits directly on my home at 4:00 in the afternoon, and it makes it into a furnace. And I just look around and I'm like, once upon a time, there were big, large trees that blocked the sunlight.
Yeah.
They're gone.
A lot of beautiful, being from the Northeast, right? Those canopies in some cities in the Northeast are just beautiful.
Yeah.
And also, just like I said, save air conditioning. There's a lot of practical things for trees. So.
That's what it's all about. It creates shade, and the shade is what we need when it's 100 out, and you go under a shade tree, and you're like, oh man, it's actually comfortable now, right? So
yeah. Well, Anthony, we really appreciate you and just your
welcome.
Willingness to jump into this community and volunteer. Historic preservation is an important one, but it's a lot of work, and a lot of passionate opinions come from there, which is the way it should be.
That's right.
But now we have the sounds of the city.
We're gonna bring them to the fire.
Here we go. Speaking of southern heat and fire here.
So if you don't like this part of the show, it's Austin's idea. It's not my idea. If you like it, it was my idea.
That's right. So we have a particular sound that we have, and we just have our people online who guess, and we also have Ricky doesn't know the sound. Obviously, you don't know the sound, so I play it, and then you just get to guess what it is. So if you win, if you guess it right, our audience, you get an autographed picture of Ricky Zambrano from college when he was a soccer star. I'm trying to remember where you went to
Thomas University Bobcats.
Go Bobcats.
Pride of Miami, Florida. My hair was a little longer back then, though.
Oh, you long-haired soccer player.
Yeah.
I never heard of such.
Yeah, not at all.
All right, so a little bit of a hint. Anthony's been talking about parks. So this sound came from a park. And you're going to hear like a you'll hear the roar of a vehicle. You'll hear that.
Okay.
And then you're going to hear kind of another noise associated with that. So just kind of tell me what kind of vehicle you think it may be. I mean, because this one, I ain't gonna lie, this one's kind of tough.
What kind of vehicle is?
So what kind of
He's
vehicle?
giving
What
a lot
kind
of hints. He typically
right.
he must like you as a guest,
All right,
because
let's
he
see what
typically
happens.
doesn't give a lot of
this one's
hints.
hard. So a lot of you're going to hear, some noise, some vehicle noise. So tell me maybe what department you think this may be. And
Gotcha.
again, big hint of it being in a park. But here, let's try it. All right, you want to hear it? You want to take a guess? Or you want to hear it again?
Let's see. It's kind of high. It's kind of high pitched.
Yeah, high pitched noise is kind of a part of it, right? So you hear the rumble of the engine.
Yeah.
A little bit of a high pitch there. Another kind of, what do you think, Ricky? Go ahead and fire away on a guess, and then we'll get to, because your wrong guess will help Anthony.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm like 0 for 200.
Yeah, Ricky's never close. So
I'm gonna say an electric truck inside of the park,
electric truck inside the park. Yeah. Okay. All right.
specifically Paradise Park.
Oh, okay. Getting specific there.
Yeah.
All
At
right.
3:20 in the afternoon.
I was thinking Paradise Park only because I'm following the removal of some of the hardwoods and sort of the rejuvenation of the loblolly pines. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking it's a circular saw.
Okay.
Might be out there cutting some of those logs into a size that they could be moved. So I'm thinking a large circular saw.
Okay. Man, two excellent guesses. We will reveal it online. So follow us on Facebook and we'll reveal it.
Yeah.
We do have.
He's like, I want the answer now.
That's pretty. We should have him on the Historic Preservation Committee. That is good right there, Anthony.
We'll talk to Kenny.
That's right. Well, appreciate you guessing. And Ricky, wrap it up for us.
Well, as always, we want to inform the community about important meetings and happenings that are going on out there. And the great part about it is obviously we've got two shows in August because we're back. We're back in full go, and we'll have our 2 episodes a month. But speaking about important opportunities to get involved, we've got Coffee and Conversations coming up on Thursday, August 26th from 9:30 to 10:30 at the Thomas County Public Library. And this is a great opportunity to hear straight from the boss man, as I like to call him, from Chris White and our Assistant City Manager, Cheryl Seeley, and other city leaders about everything that's going on. So a great opportunity to ask questions. It's a laid-back environment. We've got some, coffee for everyone, and it's just a great opportunity to come out, ask questions, and start that level of involvement. So if this episode does make an impact, hopefully we have a full room that day. And we've got a lot of great questions for Chris and Cheryl and others about a variety of topics that, we've got a lot going on right now. So great time to come out, ask questions, and, get some updates on projects that are going on around the city.
Absolutely. Well, again, we appreciate y'all listening. And again, Anthony, we appreciate you. And again, if you want to subscribe or listen to us on your favorite podcast, and we will see you next time.
You've been listening to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. The show is produced by the City of Thomasville Marketing Department. The show's music is by pond5.com. To learn more about the City of Thomasville, visit thomasville.org or follow us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening app so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.